So when I'm with my clients and we're working through things, so whether that's just helping them fall into a really lovely relaxation before we do a little bit of hypnosis, or whether it's just the EFT which has brought something up that we just need to clear, I always help the client just really focus on their breath. And through focusing on the breath, through taking those deep tummy breaths, and by having a slightly longer exhale than inhale, it can just allow that body and lead that body into a relaxation. So within our bodies, we can trigger relaxation just through starting to take some really lovely long deep breaths, and it will just start to allow the body to melt, and anything that you're feeling will just start to come right down. So if there's feelings of stress or tension, just focusing on that breath by just having that slightly shorter in breath and releasing that with a longer out breath will just let the body kind of just start to sink and just start to kind of melt, and it will just start to regulate your heartbeat and just start to make you feel really calm. And it sounds too simple really, but it's the way our bodies were built. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was just remembering how as a child, if I would fall over and graze my knee or graze my hand or something, you know, that kind of feeling you would get where you would just, everything would bubble up and you would cry and you would feel really, really upset. And then because you were crying so hard, you found it really hard to probably catch your breath, and your parents or grandparents or whoever you were with, the adult that you were with, would probably tell you, or they would definitely tell me, to just take some long deep breaths. And as I did that, as I caught my breath and I relaxed, actually I would feel a lot better, and maybe any pain that I had felt through grazing my knee or my hand, I'd notice that would actually go, and then you would forget all about it. And so the breath has a really wonderful way of just soothing us, and it's always soothed us. If you look at how a baby breathes, they breathe with their whole body, so they have that really deep tummy breath, and you'll see them, their whole bodies kind of rise and fall as they just kind of, you know, sleep and dream, and it's a really beautiful thing. And actually, I think we forget to breathe like that most of the time. I mean, if you're like me, I'm in no means perfect. I will get to the end of the day and I will think to myself, I don't even know if I have taken a breath today, which sounds a little bit crazy because of course I've taken a breath. I've been breathing all day, but that's only because my body remembers to do it for me. I don't actually, you know, at times remember to do it because I'm doing so many different things at once. And so for most of our days, we just seem to breathe, unless we're told to, from kind of up here, and they're kind of those kind of short breaths that just kind of keep us going, keep the momentum up. But actually, when we remember to just take those deep tummy breaths and focus on the breath, we notice how actually we just are able to create our own kind of serenity, kind of our own paradise, which is fantastic because it's totally free and it's totally our own space, and it's something that we can totally create ourselves and that we should feel empowered to do. But that can be hard, and especially when, you know, you are at work or you're with your family, your friends, and lots of things are going on. It can be hard to just take that time. But this is the beauty of the breath. You can do it relatively privately in a busy place and no one will know. So you could do it kind of in the office, perhaps even just sitting at your desk as you're staring at the computer screen, or you could just pop off into a meeting room. Or, you know, it's kind of on your way to work, on the bus or the train, or even just kind of when you get home from work, rather than just getting on with what you have to do, just lying on your bed for a couple of minutes and just starting to reconnect with that breath and just how that body's feeling, and just starting to enjoy actually how the body just really starts to calm and starts to melt, as you take those really beautiful long breaths. And as long, as I say, as that inhale is just that little bit shorter than that out breath, you will just really start to notice how the body starts to just relax and get a sense of calmness. And as you continue to take those deep breaths, and how you just continue to focus on extending that out breath from your tummy all the way up, how the body just seems to just continue to just kind of, and starts to ride that wave of tranquility, really. It's a really amazing thing. So it's sometimes just then about observing your breath every day, and at least at one point in the day, just checking in with what you're doing, and how that breath feels, and just realising that, you know, if you are feeling kind of a negative emotion, you're feeling like tense or stressed, just actually remembering and being mindful of the fact that you can just bring that breath in, that you can just start to focus on that, to start to just move on and clear those feelings that are making you feel uncomfortable. Because whether we realise it or not, you can't actually feel two things at once. You can't feel a really negative state of mind, and you can't find or feel a really positive one. So as you breathe and as you start to stimulate that relaxation response by taking those deep breaths, what you'll notice is that you'll start to just breathe out those feelings of tension, and you can just focus on what they are and use that breath to just clear them from your mind. And just by doing that, just then focusing on how that breath can just really create some space in the mind and the body, because you can't feel really tense and you can't feel really happy or really calm. And so that's a really helpful tool to have, and it's a really, really simple thing. And as you begin to do it more and more, you'll start to really get a sense of your body's natural rhythm when it comes to your breath. So actually you'll find that the more you do it, the easier it will come. And so, you know, just start to really play around with your breath and get a sense of what count works for you. For some people it might be something like breathing in for 4 and then just breathing out for 5 or 6. Or sometimes it's a little bit longer. You could try 7-11 breathing, which is where you count in for 7 and you breathe out for 11. And for some people that's too much, but it really just depends, and it's something that can be learned. So, you know, as you continue to learn how your body relaxes and your body's natural rhythm, you can really just start to play around with it more. And then you'll find that you can maybe do it just before you go to bed, which will just soothe that mind before you do just drop off to sleep. Or you can just do it at various points in the day, and you'll just start to notice how much more refreshed you feel after every time that you do it. And you'll start to really kind of bring about an awareness of what's going on in the body and where you feel certain things. So, you know, if there is a negative emotion that you're picking up on, because something's happening in your day, maybe you'll feel it in your chest. And as you just breathe through that feeling, you can just start to just get a sense of what it's like as that breath just starts to kind of melt that feeling of tightness perhaps, or that tummy pain, whatever it is. So, you know, we have this amazing body that just can give us a message sometimes, and that message can just be that pain or that emotion that you're feeling that doesn't make you feel good, but it also gives us a solution, and the solution is our breath. So just focus on really kind of creating that serenity and that inner paradise through that breath, and just start to notice kind of the positive effects that you feel from that, and don't rush it. Just take your time and just really enjoy getting to connect and becoming more familiar with your body's natural rhythm.